Hello, wonderful people. This is Tom Check with Choice Coaching, where we help you unlock your inner awesome. And today is mid-December 2020, and I feel like I make a similar video every year, and every year it continues to be important to make another one. And the video today is talking about New Year's resolutions. As we approach this transition, which is a really amazing opportunity to kind of refocus and create new goals for ourselves, a lot of us kind of default to our old patterns of making New Year's resolutions to resolve behaviors that we've got. So we make resolutions like, I'm going to eat less, I'm going to smoke less, I'm going to drink less, I'm going to exercise more, I'm going to be more grateful, all of these things, right? And what most of us find, because it's really common, is that simple behavior modification rarely gets us the outcomes that we're looking for. Why? Behavior modification, and all I mean by that is trying to change our behaviors. Behavior modification presupposes that the behavior is the problem. And in all of the work that I've done and training I've gone through, the recognition is that the behavior is almost never the problem. The behavior is a symptom of the problem. Or said a different way, it's a way that you express the real problem. So when we view it through this lens, we recognize that simply solving, quote unquote, fixing the symptom, of course, is rarely going to resolve the underlying cause. Now, sure, it could do that for you. Occasionally it does. Maybe you're the person that made a resolution to eat less and exercise more, and you really followed through with it, and you lost the 50 pounds and they stayed off. But you would be the very rare exception. Most of us don't get sustained results. Sure, maybe we lose some weight. Maybe we drink less. But it doesn't last, because pretty soon we've got a really good reason, or what seems like a really good reason, that comes up that invites us to go back to old behaviors. We didn't resolve the problem. So what is the problem? The problem, one way to view it, is that it's the fears and the worries and all those emotion bits that are going on below the surface inside of us that create our behaviors. There's a million different reasons why somebody might overeat. They might drink more than they should. They might exercise less than they should. There's a million different fears, worries, sadnesses that come up that can cause that behavior. And even underneath the emotions, there's a story. There's an assumption, or what us coaches often call a limiting belief about the world, about myself. And those limiting beliefs, those assumptions, those create the emotions which drive our behavior. I might have all sorts of stories, and they're all related to my past and the ways that I survived to this wonderful age that I'm at now and that you are at now. Your stories made sense, your assumptions made sense. And so you used them. They were the tools that allowed you to survive, and they worked really well at some point in your life. But obviously they're not working for you now, because otherwise you wouldn't be setting this New Year's resolution to change a behavior. But if you just change the behavior, you never change the story. And by default, your brain, your mind, your subconscious, whatever you want to call that thing that drives so much of our lives, you can't change it by just changing a behavior most of the time. You have to go deeper. You have to look at the emotions. You have to look at your stories, at your beliefs, at your assumptions about how the world works, about how you work. And here's the thing. It sucks. It hurts. It's the thing you don't want to do because it takes a lot of work. But when you do it, what you find is that there were all sorts of other symptoms in your life that were connected to these things. Maybe you didn't just overeat, but you also smoked, and you drank, and you isolated yourself. And it could all be related to one belief that you had about yourself. And so the really cool part is when we actually go after the causes of our problems with our New Year's resolutions, we start to see benefits in lots of aspects of our life. all of a sudden our social connections get better, and our love life gets better, and our body is in better shape, and we're happier and we're more fulfilled. And it's because all of the behaviors that were attached to the underlying cause are suddenly ameliorated. And I say suddenly, but it can take time, and likely it will, depending on how true those assumptions and those beliefs are for you. So how do you put this into action? The invitation today is to go one level deeper. As you create your standard New Year's resolutions list, go ahead and do that. And then for each one of those resolutions, ask yourself, what am I afraid of that's causing me to want to change this behavior? What's the story I've got? What do I believe about the world? Or what do I believe about myself? What do I assume is true that's causing me to want to change this? And when you get down to that level, start to make a resolution on how you could pay more attention to that cause, that problem. Focus less on the behavior. Focus more on the story that's going on inside your mind. I guarantee you'll see better results. They'll last longer. They'll be a lot easier because you don't have to willpower your way through change when you approach it this way. So that's a lot to chew on, but you're big enough for it, and you deserve it, and you've got the capacity for it. And of course, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. This is the kind of stuff that I love talking about because it changes your life. So until next time, stay awesome and do the simple, hard things instead of the complex, easy things.